Same thing with medical care. Doctors do great, hospitals do great, big pharma do great, that's great. Patients get hurt. So this is, again, the way the government does these things. All these welfare schemes are actually evil. They're not, and they're not. It's not just that they don't turn out the way the government hoped they turned out. The government's motives are always wrong. They're always evil. They always seek control, destruction, taxes, wars, all the stuff.
Well, let me stop you. Let me stop you. Look at history. That sounds horrible to an individual person. Why would they do that? Individuals always think of, well, why would they want to have a false flag? To take your rights, to be the hero. People always think of things from their individual perspective, and your point of how they're like, we're going to attack Iran. No, we're not. The foreign mega banks that run our criminal government are the ones doing that. We're not putting fluoride in our water. Big chemical companies are paying government to put a toxic waste in your water and making you pay for it. But when you read this book, Behind the Green Mask, Agenda 21 by Rosa Cora, that, by the way, is available at Infowars.com, it's all the quotes, it's all the plans, it's Maurice Strong. They want a post-industrial society where no one is allowed to operate but them. And that raises my next point. Where do you see this battle going? Because, you know, head Gaia scientist James Lovelock has come out, reversed himself, admitted that it's all a big hoax, man-made global warming, but that they needed it to basically be able to sell the public on other things that are good for the environment. Meanwhile, government and socialist states always are the worst. Take the Soviet Union. Now we have, as I mentioned at the start of the interview, Forbes coming out and saying, one of the writers, let's burn down people's houses, let's mark down where they live, let's go get them. And then that's allowed. We have the Justice Department inside the protest for Trayvon Martin trying to get a riot going confirmed. That's been leaked. I mean, my point is, people shouldn't underestimate how authoritarian they are. So looking forward from history, it's not just the way things are. I want where Lew Rockwell thinks things are going, because the authoritarians now, every day I see it, are calling for violence, are calling for dictatorial takeover. They know we're waking up, so now they're selling the idea within their ranks of let's just start arresting people for their speech. There's going to be a big Dealey Plaza protest with 50th anniversary. They've announced no protest allowed. They're leasing to the school book building museum the entire area for 2 days for $110, leasing a park, and they're saying no one allowed there but their people, because they know media is going to be there. I mean, this is just off the charts.
Well, if we think back to what the ancient Romans had as one of their slogans for their empire, divide et impera, divide and rule, divide and conquer. Governments always want to get people fighting against each other. And whether we look at, say, what the U.S. did in Iraq, they broke it up. I mean, so they caused tremendous tensions between the Sunnis and the Shiites and the Kurds and so forth. This is what they want to do in Syria. They're doing it in Syria. This is what they want to do in Iran. This is what they're doing in our own country. So in order to keep people from focusing on their real enemy, which of course is not Al-Qaeda or whatever, it's Washington, D.C., they want to split us up. So of course they promote race war. They promote all kinds of horrible things that we should, liberals should hate conservatives and all the rest. They want that, so they want you focusing on that and never to discuss the government. You'll notice if we listen to the neocon, Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity, they never discuss the nature of the government. We're always supposed to focus on the evil of flag burning or whatever. So they always want you on some other thing that doesn't threaten the government, but that divides the people, so they will not become united. You don't have to be united. Diversity is wonderful of all sorts. You don't have to be united in any sense except against the enemy. Where's the enemy? The enemy is in Washington, D.C.
Well, so where do you see things going, though? I mean, if you look into a crystal ball, where do you see America in 5-10 years?
Well, first of all, you have to be worried about things like that you've talked about the Department of Homeland Security buying 450 million rounds of hollow point 40 caliber ammunition. What are they doing that's enough to wage a war? What do they plan to do with that? Is it because they want to seize our guns?
And they're buying armored mobile pillboxes for the highways, and TSA is now nationwide doing gropes and bag searches on street corners and buses.
Sure.
I mean, totally illegal.
That's right, and we've had, some of the TSA people have said that there should be these booths at malls and at public libraries and in all public schools. You should have to You should have to be groped to go into, into anything they decide, where, there was some phantom terrorist from overseas might be coming. When the actual terrorists, people who spy on us, take our money, run our lives, try to hurt us, are in our own government. I'll put that in quotes. So where do I see things headed? I think there's a battle. I mean, on the other hand, there has always been a battle between freedom and state. This has always existed as long as there's been civilized humanity. Sometimes the bad guys win, and we end up with an Egyptian system where the god is actually the government, and you have to bow down and be the slave of the pharaoh. On the other hand, sometimes we have massive increases in liberty. It happened in the ancient world. It's happened in America and other places. Now it seems like we're in retreat. But the battle I think, never is going to be over until the end of the world. There's always going to be this struggle. So I think the struggle will continue. I think we're going to be, I would say 10 years from now, we will be far better off than we are today. Not that we won't have immense troubles. We have a lot of economic troubles to go through. Who knows what the Federal Reserve is going to do to us? Who knows what the Federal Reserve has already done to us? So we have but the thing is, government is subject to the laws of reality. They all think in government that all they have to do, use their one tool, the gun, put it to your head, and say, do it, or we're going to put you in jail, we're going to kill you. Just by the way, is what's on the traffic ticket. You don't pay your library fine or anything else. This is the one way that the government has to operate. But the gun can't actually, for example, is not exactly a creative force when it's used by a private criminal or government criminals. And there are a lot of things they cannot actually bring about. So I think the fact that kids are, what Ron Paul, as I mentioned, Ron Paul has actually already won because of the millions of minds he's changed, not only in this country, hearts he's touched, not only in this country, in Latin America, in Asia, in Europe. Kids love Ron Paul all over this world.
There's finally an alternative to the statist left and statist right. When we come back, I want to jam in a call or two, Lou, but I also want to bring this up to you. They have publicly now announced the war on terror is over, but the TSA and the checkpoints are intensifying, and they say now it's now for domestic groups and libertarians and people. They actually, and returning veterans. So they're now admitting what we warned. They're saying, don't worry about Al-Qaeda. They work for us in Libya. They're good. Now the enemy is you. I mean, that's amazing. I want to ask you, why are they hiding everything in plain view now? I guess because they know we've been exposing them, or have they just gotten delusional? We'll get Lew Rockwell's take on that straight ahead. LewRockwell.com. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com with big breaking news up there right now on Bilderberg, location 2012. Arrangements do it supposedly okay. Bank of America's war on the Second Amendment. They're now telling a major CEO of a major gun company they will not let them do business with them, have bank accounts, loans, whatever. Bankster giant Bank of America has joined the effort to take down the Second Amendment and deny Americans the right to own and use firearms. Kelly McMillan, the CEO of McMillan Fiberglass Stocks, McMillan Group International, and McMillan Firearms Manufacturing, recently wrote on his Facebook page that Bank of America has refused to do business with his companies because they sell firearms. And we're seeing where they won't take ads in newspapers for them. Bank of America admitted its decision was political. His response was to immediately stop doing business with Bank of America. And because they're saying that they won't do business with him. And it goes over it all. I mean, this is just, it's so authoritarian. Lou, what was my question as we went to break? Do you remember?
Well, you wanted to talk about what's ahead. I frankly apologize. I don't remember exactly what you're asking.
No, but I mean, I got blindsided by this. What do you make of just of all the authoritarian stuff they're doing? It's not stopping people buying all-time record 5 million guns a month and saying it's because they don't like the government. I mean, they're losing. Don't they get it? And their bullying isn't scaring people anymore.
Well, you can't, something else you can't trust is the big banks. You can't trust the big banks. These are institutions that are inherently corrupt. They engage in fractional reserve banking, meaning that they're fraudulent.
They are the government. They admit in Europe that they've taken over Europe.
No, and they cooperate with the Federal Reserve to bring on the business cycle. If it weren't for the big banks and the Federal Reserve, and banking, I must say, in general, as it exists in this country, we wouldn't have recessions and depression. So these are not good institutions, and they treat you, of course, like a microbe if you're one of their customers. And so as you say, they're getting rid of they're getting rid of one of their business customers because they don't like people owning guns. Well, I'm sure they don't. Well, people want to get out of bank. Hope nobody has an account in Bank of America. Get out of Bank of America.
This is Bank of America, so disconnected.
Banks.
Exactly.
A small bank, you're much better off dealing with a small community bank. You can check the ratings, but don't deal with these great big banks. And also deal in cash to the extent you can. The government hates cash. The banks, of course, hate cash. Because if you're dealing in cash, they don't have that money to be able to pyramid loans on top of it and cause all kinds of trouble and to exacerbate the whole inflation process.
Well, Lou, that's what I was about to say in closing, because we're almost out of time, and of course they don't have time for calls, is that they try to charge $5 every time you use your own bank card when they're using your money. People said no. But this shows how disconnected Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, the shareholders of the Federal Reserve are. They think they're God and are trying to shut down real local banks.
Well, one small thing you can do, again, is use cash. Deal in cash. If you try to get a significant amount, it's actually fun to do it, to go into your bank and ask for a significant amount of your own cash. They hate your guts. They'll do everything possible. They make you feel bad that you're wanting your own money. And the reason is because it hurts them when you get that cash out. You deal in cash. So the extent that everybody can deal in cash, deal with a small bank, you're hitting them where it hurts.
Hey, I've gotten out less than 10,000 and had bank managers call me and ask me if I'm a criminal, just to make me feel bad.
Yeah, of course. You're not a tool of the banksters. You must be a bad guy.
Because they're the bad guys. Lew Rockwell, amazing interview. Ron Paul has already won. The hearts and minds, that is. I'll have to have you back soon to talk about Puppet Romney versus Puppet Obama. Thank you so much, Lew.
Thanks, Alex.
Amazing interview with Lew Rockwell. Stay with us, Infowars.com.
On the GCN Radio Network.
Last week, we had Charlie Daniels on the show. He's woken up to the New World Order, Agenda 21, and so much more. And a lot of people heard it and have begged me to re-air it. Some people said they only caught part of it, so you want it, you got it. Here he is, a encore rebroadcast of my interview last week with the country legend, Charlie Daniels.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing on the fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on the hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you."
Oh, man, it is hard to turn that off.
Give the devil his due.
That is one of my favorite songs in country, western, folk, you name it, and my children love it. We routinely listen to it when we're cooking breakfast in the morning. Part of the greatest hits with Johnny Cash and people like that in the background. But this is the first time I've ever talked to him, and I'm almost tongue-tied. Charlie Daniels, he needs no introduction. But the best part is he's always loved America. He's always defended the Bill of Rights and Constitution, including the Second Amendment. And now he's really coming out against the globalists, the New World Order, Agenda 21. And I was just talking to him the last 2 or 3 minutes before we went live here. Charlie Daniels of CharlieDaniels.com. He's on tour nationwide right now, but he told me he's not here to talk about that. He's here to talk about Agenda 21 and a new documentary that he's voiced called Behold a Pale Horse on the Second Amendment and more. Mr. Daniels, great to have you here with us.
Thank you very much, and it's good to be with you. And that's, everybody needs to be talking about Agenda 21. This is another one. One of the things that really scared me and should scare everybody is the way this health care bill got pushed through. Is you could wake up one morning and after a midnight session of Congress, there could be, no telling what could be done. And this Agenda 21 is an evil, diabolical thing. It is global in scope, and everybody needs to know about it. I think people know about it, they've been arms about it.
Well, you write about it at CharlieDaniels.com. Tell us about your political awakening that's, I guess, decades old, but currently what you're most focused on. And let's talk about Agenda 21 and why people should be concerned about it.
Well, let me just read a little thing here from Agenda 21. The American system of justice must be changed to conform to the rest of the world, and there must be a shift in attitudes. Individual wants, needs, and desires are conformed to the views and the dictates of government planners in the process of implementing sustainable development. Individual rights will have to take a back seat to the collective. That's for starters.
people, as you say, are looking into whether